I told my partner he needs to find a better job for our family. He still hasn't, and it's been 5 years.
You gotta find a better husband.
My partner and I started dating in college and got married after we graduated years later. I've always been the driven one in the relationship and pushed him to take school seriously and graduate. I came from a lower middle class family and had a job since I was legally able to work. I have always paid my cell phone, bought my car, paid for my college by working full time through school and taking classes when I could, or taking out student loans to help. I can't remember a time when I ever asked my parents for money because I knew they didn't have it. My parents fought about money a lot. By the way, this comes from Grow With Me 22 on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. Even in grade school, if I wanted to go to the movies or shopping for school clothes, I worked and paid for those. My partner grew up in a big house and never really had to want for things, especially after his dad remarried. He married into a family with a lot of money, like 1% kind of money. My partner went on insane trips, had a credit card through school, and everything paid for until he failed school, and his dad kind of cut him off. Yeah, that's crazy having a credit card that someone else pays for.
Yeah.
That's whoa. That's when I had to step in and push him to finish. He would have stayed out of school and worked at a restaurant had I not pushed him to finish. Fast forward to us getting married. We were living in a family member's rent house, and I didn't understand why we weren't focusing on buying a home. We started trying for a baby, and when we got pregnant, I talked to him about how important it was to have a place that was ours when we brought our baby home. He would listen and agree, but never really took any actionable steps towards saving or anything.
That's the thing. I think he has just a totally different take on money.
Yeah.
And just totally different relationship to it.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to rich people before and I'm like, y'all don't know how to deal with money.
Right. It's just kind of always there for them.
Yeah. They're just like, oh,
you don't have to worry about it. But sometimes you do.
Sometimes you got to.
It wasn't until I practically had a meltdown and found the house to look at and gave him an ultimatum that we bought our first house. His job at the time had him gone for weeks at a time, which wasn't ideal with the new baby, so I started talking to him about what his plans were so that he could be home with us and work. He quit his job and started working for a close family member who ran a devil's lettuce grow, making next to nothing, and kept telling me that it was going to go somewhere. That his boss had him on the path to make 6 figures and that he would make commission on brokered sales, etc. Needless to say, this never happened. He was able to get our kids on insurance paid for by the company, and since our cars were used for work, he was able to have the car payment paid for by the company. I was working in a very competitive industry, which had me gone a lot, so our child went to daycare around 3 months old. I hated my job, but I was the breadwinner, and I felt like I was trapped even though it was a super toxic environment and not good for my mental health. I spoke with my partner regularly about this, and he promised that he was looking for jobs related to his degree, which would have paid much more, but he could never find anything. This went on for years. He is still looking for a job 5 years later. During the pandemic, I was able to secure a work from home job, making more money than I was before, and it's such a better environment. But this is where the house of cards start to fall. About a year ago, my partner comes home panicked because the grow lost their license to grow the plants.
Oh, that's important.
They lost it because he missed the deadline for renewal. His fault.
Dude.
He had to let everyone go. The business was not bringing in revenue and actually lost thousands of dollars because they had to destroy everything currently in the grow since legally they weren't supposed to have it. Oh, wow.
Sucks.
Wow.
Just smoke it all.
There you go. Problems are
Yeah,
dealt
like,
with.
we have to get rid of it.
When I was talking to him about it, I asked him to really focus on getting a different job because he said something along the lines of, I wasn't really trying before, like I told you. Yeah, like this time I'll actually do it because before I wasn't doing anything.
Before
actually.
I was like 20%. This time, fully committed.
Right, even though I told you I was looking for a job, I wasn't. So this time it'll be different. I'll actually find one. Don't worry. For years, I came home crying, stressed out, and upset because I was so miserable at my job, and he was lying to me about trying to find a job so that I could get out of my current position. I cried to him about not getting to see my baby because they were asleep when I left early in the morning and asleep when I got home late at night, and he was lying to me about trying to find a job so that he could help with the burden of financial security. That's so upsetting.
I don't like this guy.
For years.
Years. She brought it up years ago.
That's insane. It's been a year and he still has not found a job. Oh, Oh, so he's actually looking now.
Yeah,
and he
he's
still hasn't
actually
found
looking.
a job a year later.
It's not doing. His active looking is bad.
It's so bad. He spent 8 months leaving in the morning and going to his family member's house to help with odd end jobs and acted like he was still working. Only to find out 2 months ago that he was not getting a paycheck anymore. That's insane. You have a child. You have a child. This is a family you need to contribute to. I asked him to help me come up with a budget, take finance classes because he has no idea how to manage finances. I have investment accounts set up for our kids, a 401k, and short-term investment accounts for us. I have a small emergency fund. He doesn't even have a savings account. This past year has been super challenging for me mentally, and I've gotten on antidepressants to help manage the anxiety and depression I've felt. This is such a long story. To shorten it a bit, we had to open a new bank account because my partner's paycheck was coming from a business that is not federally legal. Our bank account sent us a letter with a cashier's check with our entire bank account asking us to not try and open an account with them again. You got rejected by the bank? It said, here's your money back. We don't want it.
No, thank you.
My partner went and opened an account that approves, but because I was working, he set the account up and I was not initially added. I asked him to please just help manage our finances since I was handling everything else. I found out a few weeks ago that he was no longer getting a paycheck, that he let our homeowner's insurance renew without looking at the new fee, that he started secretly charging their health insurance to his credit card and making our car payment. But you know what's never a secret is us going live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. If you want to join it, just tap our profile.
Tap it.
Go tap it. Any final thoughts before we
Leave
jump in?
him. Leave him. He's adding literally nothing. And you've been dealing with this for 5 years.
Yeah, he's actually taking away.
He's taking. And
He's taking.
I'm sick of it. I'm
Sick of it. I have been busting my butt and making the most money I've ever made in my life, and we are living paycheck to paycheck because he lied to me about an additional $2,000 a month that we were spending, and leaving out the fact that he was no longer getting paid. Not only that, every single thing he does, he has to ask me about. Like, he has no intuition or initiative to do things on his own. I don't know how to move forward. I can't trust him. If he's not lying, he's being vague and leaving stuff out. I just feel resentful and like I'm drowning. Like I'm just watching all of my goals sink under the weight of his decisions. I am burnt out and lonely. Like I'm doing this all alone and he's just an extra child that I have to plan for. And that's the end. That's the end of that story.
Yeah, you need to leave him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least I think that is the best best way forward because he's not contributing. You're stressed out because you have to explain everything to him.
Yes.
And he's just like another child that is also just actively taking all of your money.
Right. Like you have to do and pay for everything.
Yeah, you have to fix all of his mistakes.
Yes. And it's just like, yeah, I feel like you just say like, you know, either step it up or I'm out here.
Yeah.
I feel like
I can't do
I'm
this
usually
anymore.
against ultimatums, but this feels like
it's like you
perfectly
need
reasonable time.
This is not working anymore. I feel like I am alone in this partnership.
Yes. And I can't financially pay for us because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Don't want to live like that anymore. We have a child. So peace out. Deal with it on your own. I'll see you when I drop off the kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that is the end of that story.
That's the end.
And
that's the end of the episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.